Let the House please come to order. Please stand this morning as we are led in prayer by the gentleman from Smith, Representative Tullis, and then remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance afterwards. Gentleman from Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let us pray. Our most gracious and Heavenly Father, we're just so thankful for this day. We're so thankful for this opportunity where we can serve the citizens in the state of Mississippi, and we're so thankful for this opportunity. Father, we just ask you that you grant us wisdom as we deliberate in the decisions of this state. You give us clarity and you give us unity for the purpose for which we are here. Father, we just ask that we can act with integrity, fairness, and commitment to our state, and may our work promote justice and unity, and that we work for a common good. We ask these things in Jesus' heavenly name. Amen. Join me in the pledge. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Close the machine, Madam Clerk.
There's a quorum present, Mr. Speaker.
We will have the reading of the journal. Gentleman from Rankin, Representative Powell, moves we dispense with the reading of the journal. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Report of select committees.
We have none, Mr. Speaker.
Report of standing committees.
We have reports on the calendar, Mr. Speaker.
Introduction of bills and constitutional amendments. Gentleman from Marion, Mr. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to dispense with the reading of the introduction.
Is there objection to this? Hearing none, Mr. Clerk, we will follow that procedure. Resolutions, petitions, memorials, and other papers.
We have none, Mr. Speaker.
Introduction of guests and visitors. We have none of those either. All right, we will go to the calendar. In-conference appropriations. Gentleman from Neshoba, Mr. Bounds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 1, House Bill 1896, and move to pass, but it retain its place on the calendar. Item number 1.
All right. You don't have to ask for retention on the appropriations calendar. Appropriations have further work. All right, in conference appropriations, general bills calendar. Lady from the Mint.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 1, House Bill 1390, and present the conference report.
You're recognized to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this is the prior year changes, appropriation changes. There was no funding was increased in the bill. It's just technical amendments to prior year appropriation bills. Section 1 amends the Athletic Commission appropriation bill to align the salary of the chairman to the salary he is currently receiving. The amount was reduced from $43,060 to $32,500. It's a reduction of $10,560. Section 2 increases the time-limited positions at the Department of Child Protection Services. This is due to agency escalation of positions in prior years due to an increase in grant funds. So the agency received some additional grant funds. The agency's time-limited positions increased from 412 to 422, so it's an increase of 10 positions. And then Section 3 just amends MEMA's fiscal year 2026 appropriation to align with the special fund deficit that we presented yesterday in House Bill 1939. So this is related to startup costs of the Next Gen 911 program. The amount in the prior year appropriation was $743,000. House Bill 1939 provided a special fund deficit in the amount of $2,257,000. So this change conforms the fiscal year 2026 MEMA appropriation bill to reflect the actual amount provided. And that's an explanation of the conference report, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report?
I move adoption of the conference report.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote 119 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Next item, lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go item number 3, House Bill number 1651, and present the conference report.
You're recognized to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The function, just to give a little bit of an explanation, the function of the conference report is to allow agencies with short-term event space to rent the space to other agencies at a maximum of 50% of the market rate. Currently, agencies are not allowed to charge other state agencies for these spaces, and the need is that state agencies are losing special fund revenue due to state agencies booking event space. The agency with the rental space is foregoing other rentals to private entities when state agencies have this space booked. So this is just going to allow state agencies with short-term event space to rent the space to other agencies at a maximum of 50% of the market rate. And that's an explanation of the report, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report? Gentleman from Washington, Mr. Hines.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentlelady Hill.
Yes.
This is not about little Johnny. My question is, will this stop all these agencies from renting and leasing property in Madison and Rankin County? Would this allow them to stay inside the city of Jackson where the capital city is?
That would be long-term. This is short-term.
Okay.
So this would be an example. Let's say, for instance, I'll use the Department of Archives and History, the 2 museums. So let's say, for instance, that one state agency wants to book short-term, maybe the 2 museums, but there is a wedding or somebody wants to have a reception at the 2 museums, but they can't because another state agency is using it.
Okay.
Right, and so that money that they would have gotten from the wedding reception,
Right.
for instance, they won't be able to get. And so this will help
Them offset the cost.
Exactly.
Okay. So, gentlelady, can you look and tell me how much state dollars we're spending in other counties for state buildings and long-term leases compared to what the city of Jackson could be receiving, or the capital city, the capital county and all this? Can you pull that information together for me?
We can look at that, but again, gentlemen, that would be long-term.
I understand.
Okay.
My concern is the long-term erosion of the ability for state governors to be in the capital city. That's my concern.
Yes, okay, we'll do that.
Gentleman from Holmes, Mr. Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the gentlelady Yale.
Yes.
The gentleman from Washington back there made my ears perk up a little bit. Now, do this only apply to state agencies or any governmental agency?
This is going to be state agencies, gentlemen. So this would mainly apply to the Department of Archives and History or to wildlife, because you know sometimes people use that ag museum that's out there on Lakeland. So usually this is the way these entities are receiving their special funds, as you know, in some instances. So again, if you have an event, maybe like a hunting and fishing event that a private entity would use out there on Lakeland, if they're not able to get that because another state agency maybe is doing their annual conference there, then that's money that they're losing.
And one last question, lady. Let me give you the particular situation I was thinking of, and you tell me whether it's going to affect it or not. I know during graduation time, down at the fairgrounds, the Coliseum, I know a lot of local school districts in the area use that for graduation.
Would it affect them? So it is going to apply to junior colleges, IHLs,
Okay.
et cetera. So is your concern that they won't be able to use the event space?
Well, being able to use it, but if they're not paying for it now, with the local schools that have graduation there, is that going to require that they have to pay now? Would there be an increase on them using that facility?
It's at the discretion of the renting agency. I wanted to make sure. It's at the discretion of the renting agency. So, in other words, I don't think if the renting agency within their discretion has been saying, no, we've not been doing this previously, I don't know why that would change unless it was some other circumstance that came up. So it's going to be at the discretion of whatever the renting agency is.
Okay, lady. That gives me a little heartburn because I think almost all of the local schools tend to have graduations there. So it'd be left up to our former colleague, Mr. Gibson, to decide whether they have to pay or not.
Okay, council has just told us that the schools are already paying.
Okay, thank you, lady.
Again,
I just wanted to make
but
sure.
I
it wasn't
think
gonna
that was
change.
a very good question
Yeah.
because you want to make sure that the graduations continue to be held there. But council just told us that the local schools are already
Okay.
paying.
I
And
just want-
again, this is just for your short-term leases.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure wasn't nothing going to change. on
No,
this thing.
that was a
Thank you,
very
lady.
good question, gentlemen.
I see no further questions, lady.
We're going to move adoption of the conference report.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report's adopted. Next item, lady.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 4, House Bill number 1653, and I'd like to present the conference report.
You're recognized to explain the report.
So this is our local project corrections and changes bill. There is no new money added. What I'm going to do, because there's so many projects in here, I'm just going to give the entity's name. I'm not going to talk about the project amount or the new language. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'll answer. So the entities that are covered in the conference report: George County, the town of Burnsville, city of Hollinsdale, Union County, Greenville, Marion, Rankin County, Copiah County, Port Gibson, Lafayette County, city of Flowood, Mississippi Valley State University, the city of Indianola, Prentiss County, Holmes County, Hines County, the town of Delo, Rankin County, Lee County, Lexington, Olive Branch, Marshall County, Terry, Copiah County, Rankin, Pearl, city of Richland again, the city of South Haven, Washington County, village of Patton, Oktibbeha County, the town of Pickens, Issaquena County, Noxubee County, and those are the entities that are covered in the conference report, Mr. Speaker, and that's an explanation.
Questions on the report? I see none, lady.
I move adoption of the conference report.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 121 yeas, 0 nays, the report's adopted. Next item, lady.
I'd like to go to item number 10, Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill number 2898, and explain the conference report.
You're recognized to explain the report.
So this is our transfer bill for the Disaster Assistance Trust Fund. Section 1 is transferring the sum of $20 million from the Capital Expense Fund to the Disaster Assistance Trust Fund. And then Section 2 is transferring the sum of $125 million from Capital Expense Fund to the 2026 Local Governments Disaster Recovery Emergency Loan Fund that was created in Section 6 of House Bill 1646. So Section 2 is provided as a deficit in the MEMA appropriation bill for the winter storm cleanup. And that's an explanation of the conference report, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report?
I move adoption of the conference report.
Seeing no questions, she moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted.
We're going to yield for now, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, lady. In conference, Ways and Means. In conference, general bills. Any chairman have an item they wish to take up? Gentleman from Itawamba, Mr. Boyd, for what purpose?
Mr. Speaker, thank you. On that last vote, I didn't record a vote up there. I pushed a button, but somehow it didn't work, so I want to be yay.
Record the gentleman's vote. Rules calendar. He passes. General calendar. He passes. Local and private. He passes. We've gone through, we'll go back through. The gentleman from Warren indicates they have an item on the in-conference general bills calendar they wish to take up. So I recognize the gentleman from Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 48, Senate Bill 2378.
All right, you're recognized to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like the gentleman from Pike to handle the conference report.
Gentleman from Pike, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen in the House, this report simply removed the reverse repealer that we put in it when we brought it before the body the first time. That's an explanation of the report.
Questions on the report? Gentleman from DeSoto, Mr. Eubanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will gentleman yield?
Yes.
Was this the bill that we had that raised their fees to like $4?
That's correct, from $2.40 to $4.
From $2?
From $2.40 to $4 for the court report.
Okay, and that's in this?
That's correct.
All right, thank you.
We just removed the reverse repealer.
I see no further questions, gentlemen.
Move for final passage or adopt the conference report.
He moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 114 yeas, 3 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Walthall, you have an item? You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item 57, Senate Bill 2637, conference report.
You're recognized to explain this report on this somewhat controversial issue we can't seem to put to bed concerning the Northeast Mississippi livestock. So let's try one more time.
One more time, sir. Yeah, this is the Northeast Mississippi Livestock Show. It is a conference report. There's been a little change in it. It is no longer suitable for livestock show. The county does not own the facility. It's Mississippi State. They're using it for sweet potato research and marketing. It doesn't have adequate water or electricity, and the shows are held in January, and it's cold, and they don't have adequate facilities. So that's a basic explanation of the bill. Yield for questions.
Questions on the report. Gentleman from Lee, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Do the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
Have they actually done any research to make sure that it's cold and everything? Do you have the documentation for that?
They have, and that's...
Can you provide me with the documentation that it's cold and it's not suitable?
Say that one more time.
Can you provide me the documentation that it's not suitable
It's not,
for that area?
I
You know, just
Mississippi State can...
I know Mississippi State is saying that, but I'm the representative for that area. But
they can provide that documentation. This is for the betterment of the kids, giving them better...
But I'm looking at my community now saying that this is number one thing to provide access, and this is the first time since we had this controversial issue, and I'm standing up saying that it is not fair to say that it's not suitable, and we don't have any documentation. I haven't been provided any documentation to say that it is not fair.
Well, you have to talk to Mississippi State, because that's the word they
Well,
give them.
I need to talk to somebody because I'm standing up for my community, and that's the northeast area up there.
Well, you have that right, but...
Okay, I have that right.
I'm just doing this for the betterment of the kids, to give them more opportunity.
It's not the betterment of the kid if you're moving it around, sir.
That's an opinion.
I know that's an opinion, but look, I'm the representative for the area, but what you're doing is not right, sir. Because you need to get the committee opinion. I have talked to several folks that are saying they were willing to work with me to get things squared away.
Well, then it doesn't definitely mean it will be moved. It gives them opportunity to move if they want to do the work, and if it's all right for Mississippi State, they can. But the county does not own the facility. It's a research. It's a research center.
I know what you're saying, but this is the thing that I'm saying. You come to a community and then don't talk to the representative, but you have someone to file something. That's still not right to me, sir.
Well, that's the explanation of the conference report, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'll need to speak on the bill, sir.
All right. Gentleman from Holmes, for what purpose? Gentleman, you yield for further question? Gentleman from Holmes for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the chairman yield?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to go back. When this bill passed the House and went to the Senate, was a repealer placed in this legislation?
There was a 2-year repealer in it.
And is that still in this legislation?
It is not.
Can you shed a little light why that repealer was taken out?
Well, according to Mississippi State, they want to use that for research, and it's not adequate for the livestock show. It interferes with their research, is what I'm told.
And Mr. Chairman, how long this program has been going on?
It's been going on ever since I've been involved with Mississippi State for years.
And with that being said, with us doing a drastic change like this, and obviously the gentleman from Lee having concerns, that's the purpose of a repealer, is to see how it works, come back in 2 years. Ultimately, Mississippi State don't make the decision. This body, legislature, make the decision. What was wrong with keeping that in there and at least revisiting it in 2 years?
The Senate took it out.
But that was the House position.
It was a House position, but the Senate took it out. That was an agreement made for betterment for the research for Mississippi State.
I'm like the gentleman from Lee. I got a lot of heartburn about that. I need some Malox or Pepto-Bismol. Mr. Chairman, I guess with that being said, although this is not a local and private, it's local and private in nature. Is the entire delegation on board with this? Because from my understanding now, the program is kind of centrally located through the entire region, and now we're finna move it.
Well, it is for all the kids within the Northeast District, and some people feel there's a better location for it if this is not improved. But if they start, I don't have a problem if they start working on it now. Like I said earlier, if they start working on it this summer to improve the facilities, that's fine. But
the problem with that, Mr. Chairman, if you got the repealer in there, it forces the legislature to take another look. Without that repealer, it's held to the whim of the chairman on the House side, the chairman on the Senate side could basically prevent that from happening, regardless of what the position of the House may be. But with a repealer in there, it forced all the parties to come back to the table. So this sounds like it's going to be a done deal if it passes.
Well, I don't know, but it's Mississippi State's facility, and they feel like they can better utilize it for their research and marketing on that experiment station, and that's basically their position, is they need it for other purposes, for research.
Mr. Speaker, point of inquiry.
Yes, sir.
I hadn't looked at the calendar, but as it relates to deadlines, if we was to recommit this for the conference with specific instructions, when would we have to have it back out?
Is it Wednesday? I can check with council and...
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to speak to that motion, Mr. Speaker. My motion is to recommit this with instructions that the reverse repealer be put back in.
All right. Recognize that you wish to speak to your motion? Then I recognize the chairman to respond. Gentleman from Holmes, you're recognized on the motion to recommit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And ladies and gentlemen of the House, you may be asking why a little country boy in central Mississippi in Holmes County is getting in the part of a fight that I don't even represent, but I felt compelled to come up here. And the reason being is that since I've come to this body, there's been a unwritten rule, a gentleman's agreement, that when a particular issue come up in your community, your county, your district, is that you don't get necessarily what you want, but you at least have an opportunity to sit down at the table and have input. And the gentleman, and to the chairman's credit, he accepted. Mr. Chairman did accept that repealer. And that was this body's attempt to try to work with the gentleman from Lee on his concern. And that really wasn't a big request. Only thing he said, go ahead on and do what you want to do. But let's come back in 2 years and let's revisit it. Let's see if everything is working the way it's supposed to work. And if it's not, this body can make changes. But it went to conference and the House position was totally rescinded. Totally rescinded. And now the gentleman from Lee is not going to have a chance to look at it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this request, as the Speaker said with the parliamentary inquiry, is that we got until Wednesday. We can send it back to conference, the conferees can meet, and we sending it back with specific instructions. And those specific instructions is don't change nothing else. I could have sent it back to conference, but I'm sending it back to conference with the marching orders of doing just one thing, putting the repealer back in. It's not going to do any foul or harm to this bill. And regardless of what party you're from, regardless of what region you're from, this has been my position in this legislature for 23 years. Because I know in Holmes County, if this was in Holmes County, I would have great concern about this. And I would do this for any member of this House if a piece of legislation was coming out in their district that means so much to their area. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to please vote to recommit this bill with a specific instruction to just simply put the 2-year repealer back. Again, it does no foul or harm to this bill. And thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Prentice, for what purpose?
I'd like to speak in favor of the motion.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I rise today with the greatest respect for the chairman.
He is one of my favorite people in the chamber. And it really hurts me to have to stand here today and speak in a favor to recommit this for further negotiations. But he did his best for us by placing that reverse repealer in that bill. Now, that's not exactly in my district, but we all draw water out of the same well. And in one of these facilities like that, they service several districts, not just one. So being one that drinks the water out of that well is the same as the gentleman from Lee. I respectfully ask you, and I respectfully ask the chairman to recommit this bill for further consideration of the people in our district. Thank you.
Gentleman from Itawamba, for what purpose?
I'd like to speak to the motion.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Folks, I don't usually do this. This is probably my first time to speak on a bill. But I know for a fact the people from Mantachie and the surrounding area bring a lot of livestock to this show. And it's important to them to be as close to home as possible. Now, this is a central area in that district up there. And my folks have not complained to me about these conditions that they say that are up there. They're willing to go through with it because they want to show their cattle and they want their kids to see what it's like to be able to do it there close by. They travel down here to the Dixie National, but that's something serious to them about being at home. And I'm asking you to commit to going along with this recall of the bill, to let them go back and put that 2-year reverse repealer in it. And I appreciate your attention right now. Thank you.
I recognize the chairman to respond.
Well, this is not my bill. This is, I thought was good for Mississippi State for what they wanted. They're very limited on where they can do sweet potato research, so they're really needing to use this for their purpose. And all I'm thinking, if there's hadn't been improvements, why hadn't there been improvements if people could complain? I'm talking to Mississippi State, which owns the facility. That's their wish to use it for research. But I'll leave it up to the will of the House what y'all want to do with it. It's not, I'm just rocking this baby. It's very controversial, and it should be a very simple bill for the kids to have adequate access to be able to show their animals. That's all, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Question occurs on the gentleman from Holmes' motion to recommit with instructions. If you favor the gentleman's motion to recommit, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Lady from Amite, Ms. Cockerham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move to recommit on yesterday's calendar. It was item number 40, Senate Bill 3062, for further work.
Is that a report we adopted, lady?
It is, yes.
Wouldn't we need to reconsider the vote? Let me confer with counsel. We would need to reconsider the vote. We would need that motion first.
I move to reconsider the vote by which the conference report.
3062 is the bill?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Lady's motion on SB 3062 is to reconsider the vote by which that conference report was adopted yesterday. If you favor the lady's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The conference report's back before us. And now, lady, I believe you have another motion.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, my motion is to recommit.
Lady's motion is to recommit on that same bill. If you favor the lady's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, lady. Any other chairman have an item they wish to take up this morning? Corrections? Gentleman from Green, you're recognized. Tell us where we're going exactly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could we go back to item number 23 on the in-conference general bills, House Bill 1444?
Yes, sir. You're recognized for that conference report.
I'd like to recognize the gentleman from Hines to explain that bill for that conference.
Gentleman from Hines, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 1444, this is the bill that we have to provide protective wear to inmates in our correctional system. The result of the conference report is that we just simply remove that reverse repealer. And that's an explanation of the bill.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
Move for final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. All right, we've got a few big budgets hanging out there, and of course today is deadline day at 2 o'clock for first action on those. We're going to recess subject to call. I'm showing it's about 9:40. We will recess subject to call until 10:45-ish. So in about an hour we'll reconvene. We're going to check with the Senate on that education budget with regards to the general bills that accompany it, because whether or not those get passed depend on what happens with that budget, what we pass in there. It may have to be recommitted and tweaked. So I'll be back. We'll be back and we'll recess until 10:45. Gentleman from Benton, Mr. Massengill.
Mr. Speaker, call a management meeting right when we recess.
All right, management committee meeting upon recess. Gentleman from Rankin for the motion.
I make a motion for the House recess until 10:45.
Gentleman's motion is the House stand in recess until 10:45 a.m. All in favor say aye. Opposed no. The ayes have it. House stand in recess until 10:45 a.m. Let the House come back to order. We have been all the way through the calendar. We will start back over. Back to in-conference appropriations. I recognize the gentleman from Montgomery.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conference report. House Bill 1935, which is the general education programs appropriation. Comes in at $2,141,126,580. The conferees adopted the following changes to the LBR level of funding. $198 in general funds of vacancy funding, $14,608,209 in general funds for the $5,185,446 in EEF funds for state testing contract increases, $218,000 in EEF funds for the ESSA tuition increase, and a reduction or a decrease to the of $1.4 million for school safety platforms, a $2,085,000 general fund decrease for section 13 and general fund line item decreases, a $3,200,000 general fund decrease for ESSAs, shifting that to EEF. They are being funded, but just not through general fund dollars, but through EEF funds, which would leave us with a $3.2 million EEF shifting that funding source to the EEF funds for a total increase above LBR of $30,512,520 above LBR. And that's an explanation of the conference report. I yield for any questions.
Gentleman from Marshall, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman, you yield?
Yes.
In this bill, is this where the money for the expansion of the Literacy-Based Promotion Act is?
That would be, well,
you mentioned it already?
This is the funding source for that. Actually, the program itself is in another bill.
So the amount will be
general
in,
bill, not
okay,
subject to the same deadline.
Good deal. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Gentleman from Adams, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
Always, gentlemen.
Thank you. Gentlemen, is the teacher pay raise in this bill?
That is correct, yes, sir.
And is the teacher pay raise a $2,000 pay raise?
That is correct.
Straight up, is it spread out over time?
No, sir.
It's a one-time $2,000 pay raise for
One
all
time.
teachers?
All teachers.
What about teacher assistants?
Yes, sir.
What is their pay raise?
$2,000.
So total, we've given $4,000 in raises. I mean, not total, but $2,000 for teachers.
Yes, sir. I understand what you're saying.
Assistants. Okay. All right, gentlemen. I appreciate the work you have done, and you all have done. But at the proper time, I have a motion, Mr. Speaker. And let me ask you this: did the House work to try to get the pay raise that the House passed at $5,000? Okay.
We
had a position.
We worked within the confines of our budget that we had available to provide any pay raises.
So when we passed a $5,000 pay raise, was that pay raise within the confines of the budget at the time we passed?
It was in the confines of the discussion.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, at the proper time, I have a motion.
All right. I'll come back to you. I believe the lady from Jones. Lady from Jones for a question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, lady.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, on the sheet that you all gave us, with this, is this conference report, does it reflect what was spent on this sheet that you gave us?
I have not looked at that. I'm just not familiar with what you're looking at. I have not
Okay.
seen that sheet, lady.
Okay, well, they gave us, passed out to all the members, the fiscal year 2027 final action for total state support. And I wanted to know that with what you had presented to us, was it a change from what they had passed out to us for the general education program? Because on here, the general education program was 262,289,670.
I'm being told by our House analyst that that figure has not changed.
Okay, and so that figure has not changed. And the only other question I wanted to ask you is that in this bill, I believe it says in section 4 that we spent, well, just in section 4 because it was spent in other areas, but in section 4 we spent $125,784,381 in education enhancement. Is that still the same number, analyst, from what the gentleman has presented?
There's an additional 268 million to the
There's an additional
student funding, 268 if you move on over a page or two to the student funding formula.
So there's an additional $268,025,562 out of education enhancement.
That would be correct.
And those dollars were used for teachers' pay, right? Or wrong?
The teacher pay raise was out. No, ma'am, they can't be. The $2,000 teacher pay raise went through the funding formula.
Okay.
So it's based on total students.
Well, the only reason I asked that question is because on section C, it says, to the State Board of Education for the purpose of defraying the expenses of the Mississippi Student Funding Formula, $268 million. But even still, Mr. Chairman, it came out of education enhancement, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so when you look at this, what we have, all of these different things in section 4, the only thing for books, buses, and buildings out of $555 million or whatever the number is, and I believe it's $555 million. Out of the budget of $557 million, only $16 million goes back to the local school districts for books, buses, and buildings, right?
Right. I've been reminded that the language in the formula gives the flexibility to the school districts to use that for books, buses.
But, well...
At their discretion.
But we all know that most of the time, those dollars are not spent for that. That money is spent for operations, and particularly since gas has gone up, you've been hearing a lot from these districts about that. But the only thing that we have in this bill to school districts for capital improvements is $16 million, right?
I believe that.
And the last thing, so that some of us who are concerned about this, because, you know, some of us, you know, everything is good, but some of us, our school districts are suffering. We spent...
I would disagree with you. I think we're all concerned about it, lady. I think we share that concern.
Okay, well, I'll take that back, gentlemen. we'll say the level of desperation is different for some of us than it is for others. But we know that for for capital expenses and improvements, we sent a significant a higher number than that to IHL. Wasn't it about $50 million out of education enhancement that we sent to IHL for capital?
Right now, I'm discussing this K-12 education budget, ma'am.
I understand that.
Not the IHL budget.
I understand that. But just so that the House will know, and for those of us whose school districts are in desperation, EEF was for K through 12. That's what it was represented to the public for books, buses, and buildings. And now we're fixing, instead of bonding for these universities, we're taking money out of education enhancement for them and only sending back to desperate school districts $16 million.
Thank you, lady.
You're welcome.
Gentleman from Jefferson, Mr. Harness.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The gentleman yield.
Yes.
I don't know if you, I don't know if I heard it. Were we able to get an increase in per student spending this year?
I'm not sure I heard you.
Per student spending, per student.
I'm been reminded that because of the pay raise and going through the funding formula, the base student cost did increase, yes.
It did increase. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, see no further questions. Gentleman from Adams. Please state your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would move that this bill be recommitted for further conference, and if I may, from my desk, for the purpose of maintaining the House position, which was a real pay raise for teachers, one that we initiated, especially after the Senate came back with suggested a $2,000 pay raise. And look, my position is, just like we talked about earlier, the House is a body. We have a position, and I'm sure the chairman has done a great job of fighting for the House position. But we got to stop conceding to the Senate every time they take a position that's opposed to us. And so I would just move that we go back, get a teacher pay raise for $5,000, and recommit this bill for that purpose specifically. Thank you.
All right, I recognize the chairman to respond to the motion.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would suggest that the gentleman has a wonderful idea, and it was our House position, but we based our final decision on the teacher pay raise based on what we had available and what we could afford to give the teachers. I would ask that you vote against the gentleman's motion to have the bill recommitted, and that we move forward with this budget and provide these teachers a much-needed pay raise. And we'll come back and look at it in another year. I would ask you oppose the motion to recommit the bill.
All right. Question occurs on the gentleman's motion to recommit for further conference. If you favor the gentleman's motion, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Noes have it. The noes have it. Roll call is demanded. It's an insufficient number. If y'all want it, you got to stand up. Anything further on the report, gentlemen?
I move adoption, Mr. Speaker.
He moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Anything further, gentlemen?
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to hold that bill on the motion to reconsider.
All right. Gentleman requests to hold that bill on the motion to reconsider. Gentleman from Harrison, Mr. Haney, for what purpose?
Introduction, Mr. Speaker.
You're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker and fellow colleagues, in the North Gallery we have a family from the coast, Kimley Gammon, and her son Ben and daughter
Georgia. Welcome them to the Capitol, please.
Welcome. Good to have y'all here today. All right, does any other chairman have an item they wish to take up? I got two of you. Are these in-conference general bills? All right, lady, you were here first. If the body will allow, we'll entertain the lady from Lincoln. Tell us exactly where we're going, lady.
We are going to item 62, Senate Bill 2778.
All right. You are recognized to explain the report.
This is a repealer bill for the revolving fund for the authority of collecting fees from paroled offenders for deposit into that revolving fund. And that's my explanation of the bill.
Questions on the report? I see none, lady.
Final passage.
She moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 119 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Grenada.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Item number 7 on the in-conference general bills calendar.
All right.
House Bill 611 asks that the gentleman from Greene County be recognized to explain.
We're going to go back to item 7 if there's no objection within this calendar. Hearing none, we will follow that procedure. I recognize the gentleman from Greene to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 611, the conference report. When we originally passed this bill, it had some pretty broad, expansive discovery language in communication with the Board of Standards and Training. Some of that's been limited down. Now the officer would be entitled to the discovery file, any exculpatory information, and also a witness list. So that's an explanation of the conference report. I entertain any questions.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen. You move final adoption.
Move final adoption.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 119 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Harrison. You're recognized, gentlemen.
Thank you. I'd like to go to item 53, Senate Bill 2596.
Well, all right, gentlemen, item 53 on the in-conference general bills. You are recognized to explain that report.
Is what we did. We went to conference on this because we had another piece of property that they wanted to sell that was in the Columbus area. It was 26 acres. It was a company that went bankrupt, and they had been given some money from MDA, so we've taken that land back, and we're going to sell it for a new project going on down there, kind of recoup some of that money. It's 26 acres in the city of Columbus. 30 acres, I'm sorry. It's 26 plus 2.5. And that's an explanation.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen. You move final passage?
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 119 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. You have further work, gentlemen?
Yes, please. Go to item 55, Senate Bill 2599, Mr. Speaker.
All right, you're recognized to explain the report.
Okay, and all this bill is it's the Senate bill, but it's exactly how our bill was in the House. So it was a compromise of taking our language of our bill.
All right.
Senate bill.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen. You move
Final
adoption.
passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Minnetonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 34, House Bill 1696, conference report.
All right. You're recognized to explain that report.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is the Mississippi Office of Apprenticeship bill that we created. The only change originally from the House version is we moved it from MDES to the SWIB board. We changed the appointments to, let me get on the right page. The appointments, 2 from the governor, 2 from the speaker, and 2 from the lieutenant governor. There'll be a 9-person board, 3 public members, 3 representing employers, and 3 representing employee groups. And that's an explanation of the bill.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Anything further, gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, if I could go to item number 44, Senate Bill 2288, call that report up.
All right, you're recognized to explain the report.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same bill we voted earlier on. It just allows the CTE grant program to be used for equipment. There was an amendment added that authorizes regional education service agencies to participate in bulk purchasing. This includes your local school systems and your community colleges, and that's an explanation of the bill.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 118 yeas, 0 nays, the report's adopted. Anything further, gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to go to item number 49, Senate Bill 2401.
All right, you're recognized to explain the report.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same bill. The Senate took our position in the negotiations, and it extends the exemption from the Office of Workforce Development from the PPR Board related to rental agreements and leasing property, and that's an explanation of the bill.
Questions on the report? I see none. I'm sorry. Lady from Pearl River, Ms. Wilkes.
Thank you, sir. Gentlemen, will you yield?
Yes.
I've had several people bring it to my attention, but on line 897, there's some code sections that are repealed. And from what I understand, it's removing some of the authority and things that the Community College Board has. It's taking away things from the Community College Board because those subsections stand repealed. Is that correct?
I do not think that is correct, but I'll check with counsel and get back with you.
Can you check with them right now? Because this is really substantial to those of us who have community colleges.
All right, give me just a moment.
Thank you, sir. This takes away authority from the Community College Board. I can't remember what all, if you go in there and look at those, at that, at the line, all those, any authority they have under those code sections, it removes it all and gives it to workforce development.
Does that mean to a little bit do that?
No. No. It's not going to.
General Lady, the council informs me that's outdated language and they were just cleaning up the bill.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yes.
See no further questions, gentlemen.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. I vote 116 yeas, 2 nays. The report is adopted. Any other chairman have an item they wish to take up? Yeah. We have another in-conference general bill before we go to Ways and Means. I don't want any particular chairman. I want to know if a chairman has an item they wish to take up on the in-conference general bills. The body's been incredibly lenient, allowing us to jump around. If I had a bill and a report that was filed, I would try to get it done. But I digress.
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman from Jackson, you're recognized.
Thank you much.
Tell us exactly where we're going.
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'd like to turn your attention to item number 33 of the in-conference calendar today, House Bill 1677.
All right? You're recognized, gentlemen, to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Please recognize the lady from Hinds County to explain the bill.
Lady from Hinds.
Conference report.
You're recognized to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is largely the version that passed the House previously. Section 5 is the primary difference. That is the board makeup. In this version of the bill, the mayor of Jackson is to appoint 3 members at large. The governor is to appoint 2 members at large. The lieutenant governor is to appoint 1 member at large. The mayor of Byram and the mayor of Ridgeland are each to appoint a member at large. And the governor and the mayor of Jackson are to consult and confer on the final and 9th appointment. I am more than happy to answer any questions, but the bulk of the bill is as it passed the House previously.
Does that conclude your explanation, lady?
It does, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report? I see none. I'm sorry. Gentleman from Hinds, Mr. Bell.
Thank you, young lady. You.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're fine.
The last statement you made, you said that the mayor and the governor will consult?
Yes.
And that wasn't in the original?
It was not. So the House version, the original 9th appointment was the president of the Chamber of Commerce. In the Senate version of this bill, that appointment was the governor and the mayor consulting, subject to advice and consent of the Senate. We removed advice and consent of the Senate, and it's just consultation between the governor and the mayor now.
Okay, so in all the appointments that we have now, 3, 2 for Byram.
1 for Byram, 1 for Ridgeland.
1 for Ridgeland, okay. So the majority is still Jackson, City of Jackson?
No one has a true majority of the board, but Jackson has more appointments than anyone else.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Gentleman from Harrison, Mr. Felsher.
Lady Yield?
Yes.
Just a question. What if the governor and the mayor don't agree when they're consulting? What happens?
Then there's no 9th appointment.
Okay, thanks.
See no further questions, lady.
Final adoption, Mr.
She
Speaker.
moves adoption of the conference report. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 78 yeas, 40 nays, the report is adopted. Any other chairman? Recognize the gentleman from Tate. Are we going to the in-conference Ways and Means, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
All right. You are recognized.
We would go to item 4, House Bill 1941, and I'll explain the conference report. This conference report is went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This was the issue of moving the admin fee from 2% to 3% on the Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund because the money has not kept up, the funding has not kept up with what it was originally projected to be, and the Senate negotiated against themselves 4 different times yesterday, sent me 4 different measures, and at 11:50 last night, I finally got one that said it will pay them actual expenses not to exceed $300,000, and so that is what the conference report reflects. It was either that or status quo, which was causing them harm on years that they get less funding.
Does that conclude your explanation?
It does.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
I move final adoption.
Open machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 116 yeas, 0 nays, the report's adopted. Next item, gentlemen.
Item 5, Senate Bill 2825. This is the conference report dealing with the Healthcare Industry Zone Act. We're extending the repealer to keep the program alive, and there is a change to the in the definition of hospital that was requested by MDA. That concludes my explanation.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
I'd move final adoption.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report's adopted. Next item.
Item 6, Senate Bill number 3110. This conference report, ladies and gentlemen, is dealing with the new tax credit program that we put together to help rural hospitals. The Senate refused to go along with a full program. They reduced the credits to $1 million, and in order to get the program started, we went with that language. You recall this is something that the House proposed about 3 years ago, and the Senate has finally come around to the program idea, and so we defined rural hospitals in here and set it up at $1 million in the aggregate, $100,000 per hospital, just to get the program started. And that's an explanation of the report.
Questions on the report? Gentleman from Marshall, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gentleman, you yield?
Yes, sir.
What is our definition in this bill of a rural hospital?
Hold on. Let me read that to you so we can be very precise here. Defined as a licensed Mississippi hospital that provides short-term acute care services, critical access hospitals, and other hospitals that have 49 or fewer licensed inpatient beds and have an emergency department that provides 24/7 emergency services.
So nothing in this bill that talks about the distance between one hospital to another?
I'm not aware of that, no.
All right, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
I see no further questions.
I move final adoption.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report's adopted. Next item.
Next is item 7, Senate Bill 3124. This conference report is dealing with the Pregnancy Resource Act. The Senate, after we passed this yesterday, or at the same time we were passing this yesterday, they recommitted it, and so we had to undo our vote, recommit it, only to have them deliver the exact same conference report that was recommitted to me yesterday with 0 changes, not even a comma or a period different. And so this is the exact same bill I explained yesterday and that we voted on and approved yesterday, and this hopefully will be the second time.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
I'd move final adoption.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 90 yeas, 24 nays, the report's adopted. Next item, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, I believe that is all we're going to do at this time.
All right. Before I entertain the gentleman from Rankin's motion to recess until 3 o'clock, I will take announcement. I'm sorry, gentleman from Lafayette, for what purpose?
If we can go to the motion to reconsider calendar, item 3, House Bill 1909, and I'd move to table.
Those opposed have 5 minutes. Anyone wish to speak to the gentleman's motion? My board's lit up, I think, with announcements. Stand up if you wish to speak to the gentleman's motion. All right. Question occurs on the gentleman's motion to table. If you favor the gentleman's motion to table, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Gentleman from Pike, Mr. Porter. For what purpose?
Request, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to hold item number 2, House Bill 1935 on the motion, conference report on the motion.
All right. Please notify the chairman. I see no one else with announcements. Right. We will recess until 3 o'clock. I will recognize the gentleman from Rankin for the motion.
I move that the House stand in recess until 3 p.m.
Gentleman's motion is the House stand in recess until 3 o'clock p.m. this afternoon. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. House stand in recess till 3 p.m. Please let the House come back to order. Lady from Forest, Ms. McGee, for what purpose?
Introduction, Mr. Speaker.
I thought you were going to sing happy birthday.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it is my honor to welcome back to the Capitol, Dr. Richard Calderon, who is a specialist in internal medicine and pediatrics from Hattiesburg Clinic. He is also the director of the Office of the Mississippi Physician Workforce, and he brings with him a medical student, Christian Hollis, who is a student at the School of Osteopathic Medicine at William Carey University. Dr. Calderon, we appreciate you coming back yet again this session, and we're always thrilled to have your medical students with us. Would y'all please give him a big thanks for serving us this session?
Thank you, Doc. Welcome. Good to have y'all here. Gentleman from Madison, Mr. McMillan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the South Gallery, help me make welcome Justice Court Judge Colleen Wise from Madison County and her husband, Gordy Wise.
Welcome. Gentleman from Neshoba, Mr. Bounds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to House Bill 1896 and move to recommit.
All right, where is that, gentlemen?
Item number 1 on the in-conference appropriations. House Bill 1896, move to recommit.
All right, those opposed have 5 minutes. Anyone wish to speak to the gentleman's motion? All right, question occurs on the gentleman's motion to recommit. If you favor that motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Gentleman from DeSoto, Mr. Eubanks, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, if you'll help me welcome Katie Grantham, Shanna, and Les Chambly. They are with the U.S. term limits, and so many of you guys have already met them and even co-sponsored the legislation, but welcome them to our Capitol.
Welcome. Good to have y'all here. Gentleman from Pike, Mr. Mims.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to the in-conference appropriations calendar. Item number 4, Senate Bill number 3071.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is the appropriation conference report for the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund. Today it comes to us at $41 million. I want to personally thank my colleagues, the gentleman from Harrison and the gentleman from Jackson, for their leadership on this legislation. And so this is the suggestions and their recommendations for these projects that they have worked with the Senate as well. And so I fully support what these two gentlemen have recommended, Mr. Speaker. And so there's a list of the projects in the bill for this coming fiscal year. And Mr. Speaker, due to their support, this is the explanation of the conference report.
Questions on the conference report? I don't see any, gentlemen.
I move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 117 yeas, 1 nay, the conference report is adopted. Gentleman from Lafayette.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the in-conference appropriations calendar, I would like to go to item number 5, Senate Bill 3072, and I need to recommit that bill.
Okay. I'm just checking on my end. The bill had already been, the report had been recommitted. Y'all filed a new conference report, and now you want to recommit that.
That's
Is that correct,
Mr. Speaker.
All right. Gentleman's motion is to recommit the most recent conference report on Senate Bill 3072. I see no one seeking recognition. If you favor the gentleman's motion to recommit, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Anything further, gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, if I could, I'd like to go to item number 6, Senate Bill 3089, and explain the report.
You're recognized to explain a report.
This is the budget for the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. Our final action came in at $36,508,126, of which $5,809,000 is general funds. We gave $2,007,000 of special fund authority for the NG 911 operations. Let me find in this bill also, we are appropriating $125 million to the revolving loan fund for the Emergency Disaster Revolving Loan Fund in North Mississippi, and that's an explanation of the report.
Questions on the report? Gentleman from Marshall, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman, you yield?
Yes, sir.
This revolving loan portion of this bill, that's one with the 0% interest we talked about the other day?
That's correct.
And so the local counties, emergency folk will be able to know how to apply, and this is...
That's correct, gentlemen. We had a meeting the other day with all the northern folks that have been affected by the storm with the list of the representatives from the emergency management agencies that are in the area right now. If you didn't get a copy of that list, I'm happy to provide you one.
Good deal. Thank you, Chairman.
I see no further questions, gentlemen.
Move for adoption.
He moves for adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Everyone voted. Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 128, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Is that it with regards to appropriations? Lady from Amite.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have a few items on the in-conference appropriation general bills.
All right.
Item number 2, House Bill number 1648, I move to recommit.
Okay. Just for clarification, some of you looking on your calendar, that report is not filed on your calendar, but they have filed a report to meet the deadline, and now the lady is requesting, she has a motion to recommit that conference report, just for clarification purposes. I see no one seeking recognition. If you favor the lady's motion to recommit the recently filed conference report on 1648, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Item number 7, Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 2189, I move to recommit.
Lady's motion is to recommit. Same procedure. I see no one seeking recognition. If you favor the lady's motion to recommit, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
And also item number 11, Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill number 2917, I move to recommit.
All right. Item number 11 on the in-conference appropriations general bills calendar. Lady's motion is to recommit the recently filed conference report. If you favor the lady's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That concludes your work, lady?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I saw somebody standing here down front that maybe had a bill to do. Anyone else have an item they wish to take up? Is there somebody else doing a bill? Is that it? Are we done for now? Lee, we're done for now? All right, gentleman from Wayne, Chairman of Local and Private, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With unanimous consent, I'd like to take some of these repealer bills up in a block. Be item 1, City of Starkville, Senate Bill 2925. Item 2, Senate Bill 2926, City of Richland. Item 3, Senate Bill 2927, City of Richland. Item 4, Senate Bill 2929, City of Horn Lake. Skip number 5, go to number 6, Senate Bill 3158, City of Clinton. Number 7, Senate Bill 3381, City of Moss Point. Number 8, Senate Bill 3389, City of Hattiesburg. And number 9, Senate Bill 2931, City of Natchez and Adams County. I'm sorry, there is one additional one, number 10, Senate Bill 3385. Marshall County.
Checking with council, gentlemen. Some of these bills are 2/3 votes. I don't know if we can mix those in blocks with 3/5 vote. Let me be sure. Gentlemen, we would only be able to take up in block with unanimous consent those measures which all have the same vote threshold.
All right, that'd be items 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8.
All right, is there objection to the gentleman taking up these items? I hear no objection, gentlemen.
All of these.
Gentleman calls the bills up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bills are before us, gentlemen. You're recognized.
These all have the standard 4-year repealers.
Questions on these bills? I see none. You move final passage.
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bills, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 115 yeas, 1 nay, bills pass. Next item, gentlemen.
I'd like to go back to item 5, Senate Bill 3107. Call it up, make the usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized, gentlemen, to explain the bill.
This bill is a little bit different. They're trying to do some tax incentives there for developers, so we're giving them a 10-year repealer on this one.
All right. Questions on the bill?
Move final passage.
I see no questions. He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. Favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 112 yeas, 2 nays, bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item will be number 9, Senate Bill 2931. Called up, make the usual motions.
The gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized, gentlemen, to explain the bill.
Thank you. This is a repealer bill, but it's also increasing the amount of these contributions. The city will be contributing $150,000, and the county will be contributing $225,000.
Questions on the bill? I see no questions, gentlemen.
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 114 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item's number 10, Senate Bill 3385. I'd like to call it up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is similar to the last one where they're increasing the amount of the contribution. They're going to be going to $7,500.
Questions on the bill? See no questions, gentlemen.
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 115 yeas, 0 nays, bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item, number 11, Senate Bill 3386. Call it up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you. I thought we'd getting rid of all of the golf cart bills. I know we passed a bill a couple years ago that would allow any city to enact an ordinance, but this one, this neighborhood they're wanting to allow golf carts on is out in the county, and so they still need local and private legislation for this. It is a named neighborhood in DeSoto County.
Questions on the bill?
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 114 yeas, 2 nays, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item, Senate Bill 3406. Called up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is just extending the repealer on the Jackson County contribution to Friends of Arts and Culture and Education. It's a $5,000 contribution.
Questions on the bill? I see no questions, gentlemen.
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 115 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item, Senate Bill 3390. Call it up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you. This is just authorizing a $10,000 contribution from the City of Philadelphia to the Philadelphia Transit.
Questions on the bill? Seeing none, gentlemen.
Final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 115 yeas, 0 nays, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item, Senate Bill 3407. Call it up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you. This one comes to us from Jackson County. They're revising the powers and duties of their fair board. It's basically the Board of Supervisors taking back a little bit of their authority and power. The fair board will still remain in place. They just have to get authorization from the Board of Supervisors.
Questions on the bill? I see no questions, gentlemen.
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 117 yeas, 0 nays, bill passes. Next item.
Next item is number 15, Senate Bill 2262. Call it up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
This is a new tax for the town of Meadville. It's a 3% hotel motel tax. And it does have a standard 4-year repealer and a referendum language.
Questions on the bill?
Final
See no
passage.
question. He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 112 yeas, 1 nay, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next item is number 16, Senate Bill 3328. Call it up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you. This is the repealer bill for the City of Jackson's tourism tax. It's also adding a new 1% hotel motel and a new 0.5% restaurant tax. The proceeds of these taxes will go to the Visit Jackson Tourism. I'll answer any questions.
Questions on the bill? I see no questions, gentlemen.
Final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 109 yeas, 2 nays, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Next item is Senate Bill 3392. Called up, make the usual motions.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read a third time, placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you. This is a new tax for the town of Vaden. It's a 2% restaurant tax. It's going for their tourism and parks and recreations. I'll answer any questions.
Questions on the bill? I see no questions, gentlemen.
Final passage.
Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 110 yeas, 1 nay, the bill passes. Next item, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next item is 18, Senate Bill 3401. Called up, make the usual motion.
Gentleman calls the bill up, moves the rules be suspended, the bill considered engrossed, read the third time, and placed on final passage. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. You're recognized to explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Somewhat controversial bill from the town of Ackerman requesting a 2% tax on the restaurants.
Questions on this controversial bill? I don't see any, gentlemen.
Move final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 109 yeas, 2 nays, the bill passes. Does that conclude your work, gentlemen? All right, y'all know we are under a deadline for final action on these few appropriations bills. They have to be passed off the floor today. So we're going to recess subject to call. We're going to recess until 5 p.m., but before that, I believe the gentleman from Rankin has an announcement. I'm sorry. Gentleman from Lee, I didn't see you down here. You got conference report? We'll recognize you. I'm sorry, gentlemen, I didn't see you. Tell us where we're going, gentlemen.
Yeah, we're on page 7, number 29, House Bill 1625.
All right, you're recognized to explain that report.
Okay, so this is the virtual crypto kiosk bill that we passed earlier this session. The Senate made some changes in, but we went back to the House version of this bill. The only change that we made was we added a 96 hours hold on your first transaction, and that's an explanation of the conference report.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
All right, I move adoption.
He moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 114 yeas, 1 nay, the report is adopted. Anything further, gentlemen?
That's all.
All right, I recognize Chairman of Rules for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to call the Rules meeting at 4 o'clock, and then we will make a motion to recess until 5 p.m.
Rules meeting at 4, the gentleman says, and the gentleman's motion is to recess until 5 p.m. this evening. If you favor the gentleman's motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. House will stand in recess until 5 p.m. Let the House come back to order. I believe we have some reports from Appropriations. We will go to the in-conference Appropriations calendar. Some of those reports have been filed. Gentlemen, you'll need to be real specific about the bill and where we're going.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to item number 1 on the in-conference appropriations. This is the conference report for...
Give us a bill number, General.
House Bill 1896.
All right.
This is the appropriations for marine resources. This bill comes in at $320,243,098, which is $59,554,134 above LBR. Let me explain what that is. We have $240,930 in vacancy funding, and we have $59,313,204 in authority for the Go Mesa projects. Now, the Go Mesa projects for this year are located in Section 11 and lines 235 to 288. Be glad for you to look over them, but if no questions, I would move adoption. Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report? Gentleman from Pearl River, you don't have a question on this. I see no questions, gentlemen.
Move adoption.
He moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 117 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Pearl River, Mr. Ladner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On today's calendar, item number 4, Senate Bill 3071. I'd like to hold that bill on a motion, please.
All right. Please notify the chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gentleman from Lafayette, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 5, Senate Bill 3072. Explain the report.
You're recognized to explain that report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is the budget for the Department of Mental Health. Final action came in at $745,923,824. Of that, $265,056,513 is general fund dollars. Conferee settled on the following changes: $675,000 of general funds for court liaisons, $1,650,000. General funds for the 988 call centers, $147,000 for IDD training, $6,328,194 for operational expenses, $2 million of that for the community mental health centers. They agreed to fund another 125 IDD waivers at the cost of $2,377,031. Some opioid money, settlement money has gone into this bill, totaling $12,495,000. $500,000 of that is non-abatement money that has been sent for funding the Mississippi Dementia Care Program. $10 million in special funds for electronic health records, and $7,527,265 in federal funds for the IDD waivers. So that's the explanation of the report. I'll take any questions.
Questions on the report? I see none, gentlemen.
Move to adoption.
He moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Got further work, gentlemen? You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Move to item, was on yesterday's calendar, Senate Bill 3062. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the appropriation for the Community College and Junior College Board. It comes in at $86,158,411. This is the conferees adopted the following changes to the LBR level of funding of an increase of $18 million. And this is to be expended by the Community College Board for the purpose of construction of land acquisitions, repairs, equipment upgrades, renovation projects associated with career tech education centers and workforce development centers in various school districts across the state that participate in this program. And that's an explanation of the bill and the conference report, Mr. Speaker. I yield for any questions.
Questions on the report? Gentleman from Newton, Mr. Rushing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, gentleman.
I should have asked before now, but the salary increases for the instructors in this bill.
I can't hear you.
Salary increases in this bill
for the community college
instructors.
I think I've already taken that up.
Is that a separate bill? Okay.
Right.
All right.
They're not in this bill.
This is for the board. Okay, my bad. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Lady from Jones, Ms. Scott.
Mr. Speaker, will the chairman yield?
Yes, lady.
On the 18 million, was that education enhancement funds for that, or was that general funds?
Yes, it was EEF funds.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
See no further questions, gentlemen.
Move adoption.
He moves adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 120 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Lady from Amite, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 7, Senate Bill 3104, and present the conference report.
All right, you're recognized to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this is another deficit bill, and for Senate Bill 3104, there is $450,000 that is going to the Mississippi Board of Medical Licensure. This is for defraying the expenses related to office relocation, furnishing, and rent expenses. Section 2 is $20 million to MEMA, and this is for the Disaster Assistance Trust Fund that we passed earlier in the transfer bill, and it's a capital expense transfer. Section 3 is $15 million for CPS, and this is for in-custody and in-home cases, out-of-state therapeutic placement expenditures, temporary placement expenditures, foster board and adoption subsidy expenditures. And then Section 7 is for the Mississippi Department of Insurance, and it's $12 million for the purpose of providing non-admitted policy fees to the Mississippi Windstorm Underwriting Association. And that's an explanation of the conference report, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report?
I move final adoption of the conference.
See no questions. She moves final adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 118 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. You're recognized, lady. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 8, Senate Bill 3105, and present the conference report.
You're recognized to explain that report.
This is another deficit bill. Section 1 is $500,000, and this is for the Mississippi Tourism Advertising and Promotion. And the rest of the sections, sections 2 through sections 7, are special funds authority for transfers to go to MDA for various programs. And that's an explanation of the conference report, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report?
I move adoption of the conference report.
She moves
Mr. Speaker.
adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. In favor of the bill, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By vote 119 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Does that conclude y'all's work at this time? All right. I believe the chairman of rules. We don't have one more, gentlemen. We're going to recess. I recognize the chairman of rules. I believe he's got one resolution he wants to take up. Madam Clerk's got a report.
Okay. A report of Committee on Rules, HCR number 64, Legislature extend 2026 regular session and set date of sine die adjournment. Title sufficient do be adopted.
You recognize, gentlemen, to explain the
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have HCR 64, and this is a concurrent resolution to extend the 2026 regular session of the legislature to provide that the House and the Senate each shall reconvene on Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026, unless the Speaker and Lieutenant Governor jointly determine that it is not necessary to reconvene, and to set the date of sine die adjournment of the 2026 regular session of the legislature on Wednesday, April the 15th, 2026. And that's my explanation of the resolution.
Questions on the resolution? I don't see any, gentlemen.
Final passage.
He moves final passage. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the resolution, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 116 yeas, 1 nay, the resolution is adopted. Anything further, gentlemen?
I do need immediate release.
Gentlemen request immediate release on the resolution. Is there objection? Hearing none, we will follow that procedure. All right. Chair would entertain a motion to recess, subject to call. Senate was going back in at 5:30 to attempt to finish their bills. We're going appropriation bills. We're going to see where they are. Gentleman from Harrison, Mr. Estrada.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to change my deskmate's vote, please, on Senate Bill 3401 from nay to yea, please.
All right. Is there objection? Sounds pretty serious. Hearing none, change the gentleman's vote. Gentleman from, can we get that bill number again, gentlemen? Madam Clerk, we didn't quite catch it.
3401.
3401. Gentleman from Kemper, Mr. Jackson.
To the vote, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to change my deskmate vote on House Bill 1677 from yes to no.
All right. Is there objection? Change the lady's vote. If my board's lit up, I'm assuming these are all vote situations. We will get to them in just a minute. I'm going to entertain. Gentleman from Grenada, for what purpose?
The motion, Mr. Speaker, to recommit a bill.
Yes, sir.
Item number 46, Senate Bill 2314. The motion is to recommit.
All right. Those opposed have 5 minutes. Anyone wish to speak to the gentleman's motion? If you favor the gentleman's motion to recommit, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right. We're going to recess subject to call real quick, see where we are, and then we will come back in and hopefully be done. We're going to check with the other end. I recognize the gentleman from Rankin for the motion.
Motion recess subject to call.
Gentleman's motion is House stand in recess subject to call of the chair. If you're in favor of the motion, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. House stand. and I won't keep you hanging here through your dinner. Let me see timing-wise. We'll recess subject to call, and I'll give you all a report in the next 15 minutes about maybe we recess and go to dinner, or maybe they get it filed and we take it up. Let me see that about the timing. So we're going to recess subject to call, and I'll come back and give you an estimate. Gentleman from Rankin for the motion.
We recess subject to call.
Gentleman's motion is the House stand in recess subject to call of the chair. In favor of that motion indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. House stand in recess subject to call. And I will recognize the gentleman
Thank you,
from Pike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to go to item number 3, Senate Bill 3051.
All right, you're recognized to explain the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is the conference report for DFA. I do appreciate my colleagues on the House Appropriation team, and also our colleagues on the Senate for working with us this late afternoon to make sure everything was correct. Total support for DFA is $43.3 million. It is $5.6 million over LBR. Basically, as many of you know, this is really a pathway for all of our big projects throughout the state. And so there is some, of course, about $5 million of capital expense funds going towards some computer and some fire alarms across the state on our agencies. But also mainly it is for reappropriations for 2022 and 2024 projects. And then also we are still working on our projects. I know there are several members in this chamber and also down the hall that have worked late last couple of nights and working to look and see what is available with our project money throughout the state. So this is that pathway that allows them special fund authority. So the money's not in here, but once our colleagues continue to work hard in the next couple of days, that this money will allow them to pass through from this agency throughout the state where we are giving them direction. So that is the explanation of the bill, Mr. Speaker.
Questions on the report? I see no questions, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move final adoption.
He moves final adoption. Open the machine, Madam Clerk. If you favor the report, vote aye. If you're opposed, vote nay. Has everyone voted? Has everyone voted? Close the machine, Madam Clerk. By a vote of 121 yeas, 0 nays, the report is adopted. Gentleman from Wayne, Chairman of Local and Private, you didn't have, he passes. All right, I believe that concludes our work for today. I would remind you, Chairman, those of you conferees, if you've got a general bill, that conference report needs to be filed by 8 o'clock tonight. If you've got a conference report on general bill, it needs to be filed by 8 o'clock tonight. That's a deadline. I believe Madam Clerk has an announcement or two.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Judd B. will meet tomorrow at 1:30 in room 113.
Announcements by the members. Gentleman from Harrison, Mr. Hullum.
Mr. Speaker, I ask for unanimous consent to change my vote on today's calendar. It was Senate Bill 3124 from yea to nay.
Is there objection? I'll let y'all take it up with him personally. Change the gentleman's vote. Gentleman from Bolivar, Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask for unanimous consent also on today's calendar for my desk mate and myself. House Bill number 1941 from not voting to yea.
Is there objection? Change the gentleman's vote. Gentleman from DeSoto, Mr. Eubanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, tomorrow morning will be our last capital prayer group of the session, and it's going to be a special prayer group we want to invite everybody to come be a part of. We're going to have a worship session, and there will be head pages and members leading in worship, and we would love for you to come be a part of that special time as we wrap up our time together here in Jackson.
Thank you, gentlemen. Gentleman from Forest, Mr. Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have an adjourn in memory, please.
Yes, sir. You're recognized.
Our community of Forest County and the city of Petal has lost a friend this morning early. Burkett W. Ross, Jr., former county supervisor for 12 years, served 33 years on the Forest General Hospital Board, and we mourn his loss.
Thank you, gentlemen. We certainly join you in that. Adjourn in memory. All right. Any further announcements? I will recognize the gentleman from Rankin for the motion.
The House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow and ask that the journal remain open until the last conference report is filed.
Gentleman's motion is the House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow and that the House Journal will remain open until the last conference report is filed tonight by the deadline. All those in favor of the motion indicate by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The House will stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow.